डॉक्टर बाबा साहेब आंबेडकर ओपन यूनिवर्सिटी.
Welcome to Baba Saheb Ambedkar Open University. In the previous sessions we have discussed strut and servlet. Now in these sessions we will discuss the Java server pages. Java server pages is a technology which helps users and programmers to build a dynamic web application. It is very efficient, and using this JSP we can really build a really efficient and dynamic web application. Now how it helps us, how it differs from servlet, that we will see one by step by step. So generally JSP embeds a Java code in a HTML file. That means a single file may have a HTML code along with a Java code. So JSP helps in this way. While in servlet, what was the situation in servlet? We were writing as HTML in a Java code by embedding it in a the inverted comma in a out.println functions. So generally JSP helps us in a better way compared to the servlet. But before that, let us have a look towards the JSP, its environment and its functionality. So generally JSP is server side technology to create a dynamic web application, always programming embedded into HTML pages. JSP file is having a extension .jsp. After the execution of the JSP file, there would be a, we can say, a Java class file, and that Java class file is going to be executed in a container. Java server pages are part of 3-tier architecture. Okay, servlet ties up with the HTML, while the servlet JSP ties up with the Java in a single file. Now JSP execution phase comes in a three stages. One is translation phase, second one is a compilation phase, and third one is execution or running phase. Now we will discuss one by one. What is a translation phase? So generally translation phase consisting of from the initial request submission from the client. So suppose a client fires a request. Now this request is for this JSP page, or the JSP page fires a request to another JSP page. Then what the container does, simply the container translates this JSP page into a servlet page. Okay. Once the JSP page is converted or translated into a servlet page, that's or Java file, we can say, that translated Java file will be compiled, and once it is successfully compiled, it is going to be executed by the underlying container for forming the response and processing the request. So translation phase is simply converts the JSP program into a Java program internally by the container. Once the translation phase is completed, the entire JSP program is available into pure Java. So simply translation phase is consisting of, or it responsible for converting the JSP file into a Java file. Once the Java file is there, then we already know, we all know that the Java file is there, then we can compile it. So once we have a Java file, we can compile it. So compilation comes next. So compilation phase converts this Java program into a class file, provided no errors found in the execution or compilation. If errors found the container in Java programs, those errors listed would be in browser, and once it is successfully compiled, we can execute it and form the response back to the client. So after learning these three stages of JSP: execution, translation, compilation, execution, we can try to understand, we can go for the architecture of its execution, request processing kind of thing. Client request for JSP, this is a web server, under that there is a JSP engine. JSP engine checks that it is a request or in the form of JSP file. So it is translated, converted into a Java. It is ultimately a servlet file, Java file or servlet file, we can say. A servlet will be compiled, executed, and the response will be formed and sent back to the client. Then JSP, actually we already discussed that how it works. So no need to discuss it again. JSP, as we already discussed the servlet life cycle the same way, because ultimately JSP is a translated or converted servlet file in short. okay, we have to say then it is translated, compiled and executed. The JSP is translated into a servlet. So JSP also passes from different life cycle stages, and they are same as the servlet, like JSP init, JSP service and JSP destroy. They work same as the servlet was working. That when the servlet when the JSP is converted into a servlet and it is loaded into the memory, the init will be called to initialize it, then after the service method will be invoked to serve the request, and once it is unloaded from the container, the destroy method will be called to destroy it. Okay. So, after learning the concept and understanding the JSP, that JSP simply helps us to build a web based program to perform the request and response from client. How do we build JSP application? How a JSP page is constructed? What kind of data, what kind of fields, what kind of functionality we can embed in a JSP, that is listed over here. So, it is all about that JSP. Okay? The JSP page is consisting of number of things and they all are known as elements. So, generally JSP page will have, we can say, directives, scripting elements and actions. Apart from them, other functionality can be added in terms of expression language and all, but these are the main things that a JSP page can contain. Okay. So, directives generally directs that the what kind of functionality JSP page is going to perform, what kind of resources or page it is going to include and process. JSP directive comes in 3 flavors, we will discuss it. One is the page directive, second is include directive, and third one is the taglib directive. So, what is page directive? Okay, before that let us about the scripting elements. So, in that the scripting elements, the traditional elements are the scriptlet, expression and declaration and comments. So, generally as when we are writing a simple Java program, what we are doing, or even in servlet programming, what we are doing, initially we are writing a class name, then after under the class name we are declaring the variables, then after processing the data, and then after sending the response or giving the processing or supplying the output. But in JSP, as we said that JSP is all about server side programming language. So, when we want such kind of things, that variable declaration, variable processing and output forming, then we need to use these scriptlets. We need to use these traditional scripting elements in terms of scriptlets, expression and declaration. So, as its name indicates, first one, expression. So, expression is helpful to send, see here, generally to insert the result or send the result back to the client. So, if you have any variable containing the response, then you can put it over here at the place of AND, at the place of AND. See here, less than sign, percentage is equal to, this is required to process or to display the, we can say, expression in a JSP. That means expression contains the output. In short, if you are in a simple words, we want to say that if you want to display output in a JSP file, you should use expression clause, expression block even, less than, percentage and equal to, and make it very clear after the variable name semicolon is not required, make it very clear. Okay, semicolon is not required. Then scriptlet is there. Scriptlet is the block of code where you will write your logic, in short. Okay, where if you want to write a for loop, if you want to write a certain processing, then write everything in a scriptlet block. It starts with a less than, percentage, write your code, and once again if you want to close it, percentage and a greater than sign. See here. Okay, this AND require, this AND indicates a logical block of code, lines of code. Okay, see the example. Here we have mentioned scriptlet starts, we have variables, we are printing the value and closing the scriptlet block. So, this way. Then after declaration comes, as I told you that in a simple Java programs we are declaring the variables. In same way in JSP we can declare the variables using the declaration block. So, declaration block starts with the less than, percentage and exclamatory sign. So, make it very clear that each and every scripting elements have a different signatures. The declaration starts with the exclamatory sign. So, if exclamatory sign is there, start it with a declaration, initialize it, okay, and then after you can close it. Now, after the scripting elements, that is we can say scriptlets, then declaration, then expression, it is time to discuss about the directives, that we have seen that there are 3 directives. page directive, include directive and taglib directives. So, what about page directives? So, generally page directive tells about the JSP page, that what the JSP page is and what kind of attributes it is having, okay, what kind of data it is going to process. So, generally page directive gives special information about JSP page, okay, and that signature of page directive is written like this, less than percentage and @ sign is there, and @ sign indicates that you are going to use directives, JSP directives, fine. So, directive name, okay, directive indicates the name of directive, it may be either a page, it may be either a taglib or include directives, okay. So, 3 directives is there, among that you can use either or, either page, include or taglib. So, percentage, @ the directive name, and then after its attributes and their value. Let us have example, first one, page if you are using page directive. So, page directive is having number of attributes, okay. Let us see one by one. The first attribute is import. If you want to import different classes in your program, if you are writing a JDBC application in a JSP, and then you need to import Java SQL package. So, you have to import this SQL package, okay, because in a simple Java program we are writing import java.sql.star, but in JSP you can't write import statement. So, you have to import this package using the directive, page directive. So, you have to write like this, percentage @ page import is equal to java dot either util.date, and if you are talking about database, then we need to write java.sql.star. Then and then you can have a database class and interface functionality available in your JSP page, okay. So, this is the most important functionality of a directive, that is page directive. This is first attribute of page directive, that is import. Likewise, other attributes are that the language, that which language you are going to use, specify using the attribute. Session, if you are going to manage the session, then specify the session attribute and its value. Buffer, you either you want to manage the store the data into a buffer, then manage it. Default size of buffer would be the 8 KB. Then if the buffer overflows, then you can specify that auto flush or not, then you can specify auto flush is equal to true, if it over we can say flows. Then if it is thread safe or not, that you can mention, you can provide the information of the page in an info attribute. Then after the error page and each error page is attribute is also there. Then if there is a probability, if you are writing a JSP page and probability is there, then there is a exception, there may be a exception in a execution. So, how do such kind of exception can be handled? So, you can handle it through error page and each error page. You have to specify the value that each error page is equal to true, that means this is the error page and it is going to handle. So, the error page will be invoked. So, you have to specify here in a page is equal to error page, name of the error page to be invoked, and it will, the exception will be handled. So, these were all about the page directive attributes. So, first one was the page directive, and then these were the attributes. Now, next is the include attribute. So, how do include attribute helps? So, suppose your JSP page wants to include another resource in the same file. So, you can use include directives to include that resource in the ongoing process. See here, how do you include it? So, percentage @ include file is equal to external file.jsp. That means, in the ongoing, in the working JSP file, this file is going to be included at compile time, make it very clear, okay, at compile time. Next is taglib directive. So, taglib directive is very efficient, and we have seen in the strut environment that we were using the struts taglib to provide to design the presentation view. We have used struts functionality to design the HTML form S. We were using the S functionality, or you can use any other prefix instead of S. But taglib directive is very important, very efficient, and it provides number of functionalities with a inbuilt URIs. URI stands for Uniform Resource Identifiers. It is we can say it is a list of library functionality that you can directly plug in into your application, JSP application, and access it using the prefix. So, if you want to such kind of a taglib directive, inbuilt taglib directives to be available in your JSP file, then use this taglib directive, and it is having two most important very required attribute is URI. URI specifies that uniform resource identifier, that which resource you are going to use, provide that URI and with which prefix you will use it. to provide the prefix. So, using that prefix you can access the functionality of that specified URI. So, these three were the we can say a page directives of the JSP file, page directive, include directives and taglib directive. Then after see the taglib directive, the same continuation, here we are using the URI and prefix is already there. So, these are the we can say inbuilt tag libs available, examples of certain tag libs libraries. Core tag library URI is like this, you can get it. Formatting tag library, if you want to page are in a formatting different formatting manners. SQL, if you want to manipulate the SQL functionality in a JSP file, then you have to use this tag lib. XML kind of functionality, for JSTL functionalities, everything. Okay. So, this JSP directive plays a vital role, and to use this JSTL in our application we must have the JSTL.jar, very important that you need to know. You need to have a JSTL.jar in your lib directory of a web applications, then and then you can access all these libraries functionality in your JSP file. Then after standard action comes. So, what the standard actions is there? The standard action helps us to perform the dynamic functionality in our JSP page. If you want to manipulate bin, so there is a standard action named JSP use bin action is there. Under the use bin there is a sub two bins tag is there, set property and get property. As we know that every bin has a getter and setter. So, when we are talking about JSP and its standard action, so there is a use bin standard action and it is having a two another we can say properties, set property and get property. Apart from that, other standard actions are the include, forward, plugin, param are there. Okay. Now, next first one is include. So, what include is? So, we have already seen one include in a directive, page directive, we were writing include, that means it was all about compilation time. So, sometimes what happens, we need to import, we need to include resources at compile time. So, in such situation you should add it into add it as a directive, while if you need certain resources at runtime you should use standard action include. Okay, include standard action allows us to include a file at runtime. So, you can include the resource in the ongoing process at runtime instead of compile time. So, this is a helpful we can say functionality. Then after use bin action is there. So, this use bin action helps us in a JSP page to manipulate the bin data as we can say model data we can say. When we are dealing with MVC architecture we will call it model instead of bin. So, we can manipulate the model in a JSP file using the in a standard action use bin using its stat property and get property. This is the simple example. See, a class message is there, it is called bin, having a one property text, and for the text there would be a getter and setter, and one see get text and set text, we are setting it simple. Though for this simple bin, okay, it is contained in a package BAOU. Now, how do we use this bin in our JSP using the standard bin, standard action use bin. So, this is the syntax. See, we can this is the HTML file, the standard action that we are going to use is JSP colon use bin, because the standard action syntax is like this. We can use JSP colon action and then after we have to clone it. If we are using include, then JSP colon include, forward, plugin like that. So, colon is required apart from JSP. So, we will use JSP colon use bin. It requires the attribute in named ID, specify the name of the use bin as a ID. The class indicates the bin. Okay. So, where is your bin? Provide the path of that bin. So, right now our bin is contained in BAOU package and name is message. So, we are providing like this BAOU dot message. Once it is defined, you can set it. The set property JSP colon set property name is equal to MSG, property is equal to text, because it is having a text property, and value of particular text. Okay. But the set property will set the value of a particular specified property, but how it would identify the which bin property to be set. So, that will be identified through this name value. It is having the same name as the name of bin ID. See, check and match it. So, bin ID must be used in a getter and setter property. See here, set property and get property to get the property that we have already set in a bin. So, this way the standard action use bin helps us to manipulate the model of bin data. Then after the forward actions, as we already discussed forward, that forward indicates that we want to forward a result to another page, then you can use JSP colon forward, the forwarded will be to error dot JSP. Okay. And if you want to pass parameter even with the JSP in a forwarded page, you can use JSP colon param standard action, because param itself is another standard action. See here. So, param stands for parameter. So, if you want to pass parameter with a ongoing request, ongoing forwarded request, then you can pass it along with the forward tag. So, JSP colon forward is, we can say it is used as a sub action to a JSP colon forward action. So, as you are using JSP colon forward, and under that you are using JSP colon param along with its parameter, that we are passing name BCA with value BAOU. So, whenever we will access a error.jsp, when the control goes to the error.jsp file, then in a JSP file, that means in this file error.jsp, we can manipulate this parameter using the request method request.get parameter name and get the value BAOU in a forwarded file, in a forwarded JSP file. The next action is plugin, JSP colon plugin. This standard action helps us to embed a applet in our JSP file. Sometimes if you want to embed a applet kind of controls in a JSP file, this standard action helps us to do that. Okay. The syntax is simply you need to specify plugin, type is equal to the component you want to plug in. Here we are trying to apply plug in applet. So, we are writing applet, the code that where the applet is and how do you embed it, code base, the path that you want to specify, and width and height of a particular controls that you want to embed in your JSP file. Then after fallback is used as a standard actions. If you something unexpected happen in terms of the plugin is not supported kind of things, then the message will be displayed that this is not supported or not going to play due to this. So, fallback is closed, and then after close the standard action plugins. So, JSP colon plugin standard action helps us to embed applet kind of controls into a JSP page. Then after learning the, we can say JSP scripting elements, then after the standard action in terms of all this JSP use bin, include, forward, plugin. The next point is all about implicit objects. These are known as implicit objects. Why? So, they generally what happens, if you want to have the access of objects, we need a class, we need to define its instance, and then after we can access it. But in JSP is a very efficient mechanism in terms of JSP delivers efficient mechanism to the user in terms of implicit objects. The name indicates implicit, that means they are implicitly available to the JSP page container, okay, from the container. We doesn't need to define it explicitly to access it. So, if you want to fetch the parameters submitted by the user, we need in servlet, let us have an example, in servlet we need to have the instance of servlet HTTP servlet request, and then after we can use this request instance to get the parameter. But in JSP file we can directly use the request instance, it is a implicit instance, as it is indicated that request instance is there, that we can directly use request.get parameter. At the same way, to send the response, there is a response implicit objects that we can access and send the response back to the client. Apart from this request and response, there is a out object. Out in a servlet we were using print writer, out is equal to response.get writer. We are getting the print writer instance using the get writer method, but here we do not need to write these things. We can directly write out object and print the statement that out.println. The same way configuration instance is there, that we can configure the servlet initialization parameters, application instance is there, session instance is there to set the session, page context we can set the context, environment variable, environment information, then page object is already there. If exception is there, then you can handle the exception using the exception object. So, these are the implicit objects, and they helps us to manage the JSP page very efficiently without declaring much classes and initialization of the instances. Okay, so, this is all about JSP. its architecture, its execution environment and its different building blocks of a whole JSP page, that what the JSP page contains. It may be containing a scripting elements, it may be containing a standard actions, it may be containing a expression language kind of things, everything. So, this is all about JSP page. Now, after learning this JSP conceptually and understanding its execution, it is time to move towards practical implementation. So, now we will see how JSP page can be built up and executed in a JSP container, or we can say a web container Tomcat. So, let us see that, we will discuss it. Here in JSP we are going to discuss a bin, error page, session and standard actions. So, this all for JSP files, JSP applications or web applications we have already deployed in a web apps directory of Tomcats. So, first of all let us see the bin action, what this JSP bin JSP file contains. So, here what we have written, simply web.xml does not requires any kind of mapping, as it is only dealing with the JSP file. There is no controller, so we do not need it. In a bin we need a bin class. So, here we have written a bin. Let us see, in a bin what we have done, we have declared a bin in a MyBin package. Under the MyBin we have two properties, property 1, property 2, both of type string, and as we all know that both is having a getter and setter method. Getter returns the method, set method set the property, okay, simply. Now, we are using this bin in our JSP file using the standard action JSP colon use bin. See, we already discussed this. So, we are writing directly like this, JSP colon use bin. We have defined the bin ID as MyBin, the class is MyBin.MyBin, as we have declared in a directory MyBin and okay, both names are same, but you can keep different names, that does not matter. And the scope is session, that means throughout the session this bin will be available to the JSP page. Under the use bin we are setting the property C, MyBin, which bin, then ID, MyBin, property is name, that we are setting the this name property. Value is welcome to, this is the value of first property, and this is second property address BAOU Ahmedabad. Then after we are retrieving the same property using the JSP colon get property tag. After setting and getting, here we are using, see, either here two options I have mentioned. You can use either get property to display the message by getting the name and getting the address. See, here we are using first this one. So, let us try to execute it. So, before that we will start our container Tomcat. We will log in using our ID and password in a container. Then after it will display our deployed web applications. So, our first application was JSP use bin. Once you will execute, see here it displays the message welcome to BAOU Ahmedabad. So, how it displays? So, we have developed our bin, then we are using standard action JSP use bin, defined ID, we are using the ID here in a set property and in a property name is there, and we are writing the value directly over here welcome to first property and second property BAOU, and we are getting the same property over here, see name and address, this is name and address. So, using the standard action JSP use bin. So, now instead of get property, if you want to display the same property using the expression, see here we have used the expression. So, you can use expressions to invoke the method as well, get method, get name and get address, the both is going to work. See here we will compare it this one, you can put a comment in a JSP same way as we were doing in HTML, because JSP is all about HTML and Java. So, once now we have a JSP expression, we are using JSP expression percentage equal to, and then after we are using the bin ID to invoke the get method, get name method and get address method of the bin. See here we have a getter and get name and get address method. So, that will be invoked and this will return what we have set as a value, same thing. So, simply we will save it and compile it. Output would be this one, welcome to address is this one, because we have written a static text, the name is, the address is. So, after executing and understanding this application, one another thing that I want to mention is, in a servlet what we were doing, if we are updating a servlet file, it was required to recompile the servlet, but here you might have noticed that I have changed this by commenting these 2 lines and activated these 2 lines. I just simply saved it, never went for recompilation or restarted the server. So, this is the biggest difference between servlet and JSP, that whenever we are updating a JSP file, we does not need to recompile it until and unless it is, we can say, a business logic is there in terms of pure Java code. But if only it is dealing with the JSP tags and HTML, then we only need to save it, it is going to be reflected immediately. So, this is the biggest benefit of JSP, that it does not require to recompile the file again and again. So, this is the first program of, we can say, JSP standard action use bin. Now, we will move towards the next concept, that is, let us say about error page, as we have discussed the error attributes. So, what it contains here is simply we have just developed the 3 JSP files. One is process.jsp, initial is the index.jsp. In under what we are writing, one form is there, it in having a action process.jsp. When we submit, we click on submit button, it will invoke a process.jsp, and in this file we have 2 text field, number 1, number 2, and when we submit, it will invoke process.jsp. Under the process.jsp we have written, see here, the page directive and having a attribute error page. Yes. So, if it is error page, then it is having a which error page to be invoked, error.jsp. So, what we are writing, we are retrieving the values from this index.jsp number 1 and number 2 here, the number 1 request.getAppita. See here in a JSP file, we are using this request, it is an implicit object we have discussed. So, we does not need a request interface to initialize it, we directly access it. So, these are the benefits that JSP delivers to us. Request.get parameter number 1, as it is mentioned here, and number 2 request.get parameter number 2, both are in a number 1 and number 2. Then after we are parsing it to convert into integer, then we are dividing it A by B and answer is returned to C, and the division of this is printed here. C out is also implicit objects we are using. So, this is the return result. Now, suppose what happens, what I mean to say is here that suppose we want to divide this A with a B, and if I will pass B as a value of B is 0, then what will happen, we will try to divide a value by 0, which this is not possible in maths. So, that means exception will be raised. So, that exception will be, that means error. So, we already mentioned that if error is there, then the error page error.jsp will be invoked, and this page is having a exception as we can say mentioned. So, it will display the exception, and here we have mentioned that page is error page, that means we have specified that yes, this is the error page and error page is true by mentioning value true. Let us test it and you will understand the mechanism of page directive error page. If I will pass 12 by 6, it will display the value, the division of number is 2, but if that means directly the answer is there, but if I will divide by 0, then see here an exception occurred. Exception is java.lang.arithmetic abstraction by 0. So, this is all about error page and error page attribute of a page directive. So, this was all about that concept. The next concept that we can discuss is all about standard actions, login, success, index. We have 3 files, let us see what they are containing. Okay, no controller, no mappings, only 3 files is there as we are dealing with JSP. So, first one is login.jsp. Under that what we are doing, we are passing a login information. Okay, index.html is a form having a form with a name login, action is login.jsp, method is post. Under that we have two fields, username and password. When we click on submit button, these two fields with a value will be forwarded to the action login.jsp. See here the name, login name, text field, username is login name and password is login password. These two fields we are retrieving into the login.jsp next page. Here login.name in a string 1, string 2, and we are comparing it, that if string 1 is BAOU and string 2 is GVP, then we are see here we are using different controls of GSP. We are using here GSP colon forward action, that if both are matching, then the action would be success.jsp, okay, and the message would be displayed with a login name. And if both are not matching, that means else, then we are going to include. So, we are using standard action forward and include. See here, if success is then the message would be, that means the request would be forwarded to success page, and if it is failed, then the same login page, that is index.jsp will be HTML would be included in the same page. Okay. Success is only required the login name. Let us test it. So, it was all about standard action JSP colon forward and JSP colon include. See here, we have written BAOU and GVP, the true username and password. Let us test, it will forward to success. Say login successful, welcome to BAOU, but if I will provide wrong credential, let us test as a password, then it will keep it on the same page as it is included, as we have written as a include. So, this is the we can say technical demonstration of standard action JSP colon include and JSP colon forward. So, after discussing the JSP and its inbuilt components and controls and visualizing the practical implementation of different terminologies, after learning this JSP concepts, you will build a JSP page in a web application with a more efficient manner compared to the servlet and other concepts, as servlet can be used as controller, but in the front as visual as presentation layer, JSP plays a vital role. Thank you very much.